morning, everybody. How's everybody today? We are here with Adriana from Human Design Coaching. Welcome, Adriana. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It is amazing, and we're going to get right into it because we're going to talk about human design. Adriana today is going to talk to us about discovering your authentic self, rewriting limits, beliefs, and embracing your unique design. So, she is a human design expert and a subconscious rewriting mentor. And I cannot wait to hear everything that she has for us today. So I truly hope that you get to enjoy every single aspect of this presentation, of this coaching session, and I hope that it helps you elevate into your next level. Please make sure that you are commenting, that you are interacting with us. We will be putting a lot of good information under the comments, and I will leave you with Adriana so you can enjoy her 45 minutes. So take advantage of this time because this doesn't happen frequently and much less for free. So make sure, people, that you are paying attention and listening to what Adriana has to say.
Thanks, Teach. All right. If you're just hopping in and if you have no clue what human design is and do not know your chart type or any of that information, you can head right to my website right now, adrianakeefe.com/get your chart. And I think Monica will be dropping that in the comments as well. There's going to be a lot of information that I'm giving. So it'd be best if you knew exactly what your human design information was so that you can just work on retaining the information that I give specifically for you. Now, I very much love interactive workshops. It's a little interesting on StreamYard because I can't see anyone raising their hand or anything like that, but you're welcome to leave some notes in the comments if I ask questions. My first being, if you're here live and you want to pop into the comments, give me a yes if you are very familiar with struggling with overwhelm or burnout, or the really simple question of what am I even doing here? Am I on the right path? Is any of this what I'm supposed to be doing? A lot of us have been there. And one of my oldest feelings is that I'm here to have an impact, but I didn't know how. And over time, life shut me down. Society, the environment, everyone else's beliefs and worries and pains were projected onto me and shut me down. It's really tricky because at age 17, we're expected to know what we want to do for the rest of our lives. And I had that feeling of having some impact I was supposed to make, but no clue what that meant. I'd start a career and then that feeling would come back and I'd be like, what am I doing here? And this is where I had what I call my quarter life crisis. This is where my journey into my purpose and my being here on this earth began. And I allowed myself to get curious. Now, throughout the next 45 minutes or so, I'm going to give you a little rundown of what we are going to be talking about. I'll give you a brief explanation of who I am if you have no clue who I am. We'll talk about what conditioning is if you never took a psychology class in school or any sort of social science. Human design basics. Again, download your chart at adrianakeefe.com/get your chart if you don't already have it. Decision-making support. This will make more sense in a moment. And then we can open up to some Q&A and some coaching of whatever questions that you have on your specific chart. So, who am I and why am I sitting here speaking to you today? I'm a human design coach. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a mom of 3, a wife, a 4/6 manifesting generator by human design, which that might mean nothing to you right now, but it will soon. And I love New Girl and Schitt's Creek, and I also love wine. So that's a little bit about me. I work with people one-to-one and life coaching, business coaching. I have an online course for designing and marketing your business according to your human design. I do human design chart readings. I do speaking at workshops and at conferences. Teaching is my favorite thing to do. So then I opened up a membership community, which you'll see more information about at the end. Before we dive into the meat and the bones of what human design is, I want to take you back to this high school social studies or psychology that we talked about with conditioning. If you don't know what conditioning is, maybe it'll ring a bell if I say something about Pavlov's dogs. He did an experiment with dogs after recognizing that they would start to salivate at the people who would feed them, even when they weren't feeding them. They associated those people with getting fed. Therefore, their body would just be what they now termed conditioned to respond to that person. Excuse me. So, conditioning is the label they put onto that. And in behavioral psychology, it's a theory that the reaction to an object or an event by a person or animal can be modified by learning, by becoming conditioned. What does this mean for you and for the work that I do? It's about taking responsibility and taking your power back from how you've been conditioned to move through life by the people around you, by the environment, by society. And that's not to say that anyone meant doing wrong to us or that they purposefully made us a certain way. This is simply what happens from the moment you're born. You're being conditioned by the people around you and your experiences and your pain and your heartache to think and act and be a certain way. But when we're able to let go of that conditioning, when we're able to release the beliefs that don't belong to us, that belong to other people, this is when we start to take our power back. And this is what we call in human design deconditioning. So, what is human design? It's essentially like the operating manual for your soul. It's how to drive your own car. It's your energetics on the design level, how you were designed at birth to be in this lifetime. And it's all about energy. How is my energy different than yours? The science of differentiation. Why does something work so well for someone else and not well for me, and vice versa? Human design is a system used to reveal your energetic design, showing you where and how to access your body's consciousness as a decision making tool. So ultimately, leading your life as your true self. Your body's consciousness means how do we get out of the head and respond to what our body is telling us is right for us. This is how we fall into burnout, stress, depression, anxiety. All of this is our body trying to talk to us. So imagine if you could understand how to listen to that, how to operate outside of the thinking mind and allow your body to simply tell you the answer that's right for you. Now, anyone who's watching, I would love for you to drop a comment in if you have already heard about human design and you know something about human design, whether it's just your type or just have heard of it in general. It's still very unheard of, but it's becoming a lot more mainstream, which is really important, I think, because had I had this information way back when I had this so-called quarter life crisis, I would have saved a lot of time and heartache and energy, because all of this energy that I thought was too big, too much, too whatever, because it was according to everyone else, that was too much, right? But my authentic soul is here to be loud, to talk when other people can't, to be the voice for other people, to help other people, to lead, to guide. Life had sucked that out of me. And now I'm understanding it's literally in my energetic blueprint to be this way. I'm designed to be this way. It's give myself grace and learn how to apply it and lean into it. So these are just a couple examples of what you'll see when you go to download a human design chart. This is my body graph in Jovian Archive. The one on my website looks very similar to the My Body Graph. And it was discovered in 1987 by a man named Ra Aruhu. He had what he called an unusual mystical experience in Ibiza, Spain, followed by an encounter with a voice, an intelligence far superior to anything he had ever experienced. And this encounter lasted for 8 days and nights. And he received all of this information that he just wrote and continued to write down, and what he put together into what is now today known as the Human Design System. It combines astrology and astronomy. This is why you have the date of birth. It's not a personality test, right? It's not something that could have a potential user error unless you write the wrong birth date or time. The I Ching, which is the Chinese Book of Changes, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, if you're familiar with chakras, and the quantum mechanics, genetics, all of this is intertwined into what is the human design system. You're a generator, yes. I'm a manifesting generator, so very similar, but we'll talk about the differences as well. So there are 5 types at the highest level of human design. There's 5 types that you can be categorized as. And within these types, this is a big caveat, there's so much differentiation. So at the highest level, you'll find there's a lot of similarities between what your type is and what I'm about to say. But as you dig deeper, there's so much more in-depth knowledge. This is just the highest level that we can really get. So the first type I want to talk about are the manifestors, and they're about 9% of the population. So they're not a whole lot of people. The manifestors are really here to be those people who initiate, who take charge, get things done. They have ideas and they just want to go. They tend to be so speedy and jumping into all of their ideas and their inspiration, their intuitive hits, that everyone else can feel like they're left behind. They can feel like everyone else is slow in comparison to them, which is actually can be very accurate. The manifestors simply, they download these ideas and these inspiration and they just want to take off. For that reason, a lot of times they can be kind of the lone wolf. They can be the ones who go it alone and do it best when they go it alone. As long as they're understanding when it's right for them to lean on other people and when it's best for them to continue to go it alone. That's when they're really in their inspiration. And then we have, actually, I think I have more specific slides on this. I do. Okay. So as we go through this, I want to tell you just briefly a few of the definitions that we're going to talk about. And don't worry, I'll touch on them again if you're new to human design language. Your strategy is how you interact with the world from all around you, how you use your energy to find alignment in your life. Think flow, not force. Your authority is your way of making decisions. This is like your internal GPS. And then you're not self-themed. That's exactly what it sounds like. It's your red flag that's saying, hey, we're doing something that's out of our energy. This isn't right for us. It's a feeling that you're going to get that's going to remind you to pivot and get back on track. So with the manifestors, their strategy, the way that they're designed to interact with the world around them, to keep all the energy at the equal level playing field, is to inform before taking action. Now, informing has nothing to do with asking for permission. Manifestors are probably the most autonomous, independent type of people. So it can feel painful to have to talk to others about what they're doing before they do it. And again, not about asking permission, but because you move so quickly, because you just take charge and you get things started, it's important for you to bring others along the ride with you that are going to be affected by whatever it is you're doing, by whatever decision you're making, whatever you're running in your business. As long as it's going to affect someone else, simply inform them. That's your strategy. That's how you're going to feel that energetic alignment, less resistance, more flow, not force. Get everyone working together on the same page. Now, you're not self-themed. This is, again, your red flag that's going to tell you, hold on, something's off here, is anger. When you are out of alignment, maybe you didn't inform, maybe people are getting angry with you because they feel left out, or you're feeling angry that someone is stepping on your toes when you're trying to get things done. Whatever it is that you're out of alignment with, you're going to feel anger. That's a signature feeling for you. And that is going to tell you something's off here. Let's stop and reassess. So the world of energetics is all about listening to your body, understanding the way it's talking to you, and moving forward based on that. Instead of continuing to force, instead of continuing to try and do all the things just because you think it's the right thing to do, just listen to what your body is asking of you and then reassess. How do we assess and become aware? That's a great question. We're going to go through that. I love that question. So nourishing rituals for manifestors, because they're very independent and because their energy really thrives in putting their head down and having that alone time and getting something done, alone time is key. So making sure you have optimal alone time, especially if you're a parent. This can feel challenging. I know I have 3 kids, but having that alone time is going to be really, really crucial for you. Now, generators, so this is for you, Monica. You're about 37% of the population. Now, as I'm going through this, I'm going to preface this with manifesting generators are a type of generator. So if you're a manifesting generator and you're watching this, listen in for what I'm saying about the generators, because a lot of it's going to also pertain to you. So now for generators, if anyone here knows Monica, you're going to be like, oh, well, this makes so much sense. You are a work and life force energy. Generators are here to provide the work. They sometimes have seemingly limitless energy. And when they feel really lit up by something, they could work on it from like 6 a.m. to midnight. And they really just rest so they can sleep and then get back at it again. When generators are really inspired and lit up, they could work all day and they love it. Now, if they're not really lit up by what they're doing, that's going to be where the problem comes in. Generators are built to be a part of the worker bees of the system. And with generators and manifesting generators making up the large population of the earth, because manifesting generators are also about 30 something percent. So we make up about 70% of the population. This is where that hustle, bustle, grind, 9 to 5 can come from. Unfortunately, it was us generators who could work so much, especially if we love what we're doing, that the entire society kind of conformed to that. And that's not right for anyone or just anyone. That's only right for generators who are feeling really lit up by their energy. Now, their strategy, how they are designed to interact with the world around them, is by responding. A generator loves to try and just go after things and they just want to do. They want to feel busy, they want to feel purposeful and fulfilled. However, unlike a manifester, they don't have that initiating energy. They don't have that energy that's designed to simply think of things and go right after them. They're designed to slow down and respond. Responding, depending on your beliefs, you can, whatever, if I say universe, source, replace it with God, whatever feels good for you, higher power that you believe in, you're going to respond to what is coming your way in your external and internal environment. So, for example, instead of trying to think of things to do, if you're a business owner, instead of trying to force offers that you can put out there, instead of trying to think of something that you can do, slow down and allow the universe to send you an opportunity to respond to. Responding with a yes or a no. Generators and manifesting generators have a sacral center. If you're familiar with the chakra system, this will sound familiar. That is defined, and the sacral lies in our gut. So we say your gut is your greatest guide. For generator types, this is true. You're going to have a gut response, a gut yes or a gut no. And a lot of times their vocal response is like, oh, or sometimes there's an in between. If there's a like maybe, I always say my thing is if it's not a hell yes, it's a no for right now. Table it for later. Your gut is going to give you the answer for the things that you're designed to work on right now. So if it's not a hell yes, if it's not that yes response for a sacral generator, then this is something that you want to wait to play with. Again, slow down and let the universe bring the answers to you, because you're literally designed to have that happen, and it does happen. I promise you. Even if you feel like nothing is happening, it's there. It's just about getting quiet enough to wait and respond and keep an eye on whatever's coming up numerous times. Those are signs. Now, your not self theme is frustration. When I first heard this as a manifesting generator, that's also our not self theme. And I was like, well, doesn't everyone feel frustrated when things aren't going their way? And it turns out that's not the case. They can feel angry, they can feel bitter, they can feel disappointed. So, frustration, any generator, that is your red flag that you're pushing too hard. You're forcing. Let things flow. Get back to the flow. How can you get back to responding? One of the greatest ways that you can get back into that energy that's right for you is using these nourishing rituals. For generators and for manifesting generators, sensual practices that can look like dancing, singing, playing an instrument, cooking with your partner, smelling all the herbs, smelling essential oils. It could mean sex. Whatever that is for you, I've never met a generator type who does not love to dance or sing. That is just, music is a huge piece of our energy. So lean into that as much as you can. If it's a dance party in the kitchen with your kids while you're making dinner or in the morning before they're getting ready for school, make time for it. It's so important for you. Do generators have a hard time balancing? To be honest, everyone has a hard time balancing in this day and age unless they have awareness of this type of energy work, because we're all thrown into this hustle and grind society. And especially as generators, because we know that we're the type that can go go go, if we have a moment where we feel like we're not going, we feel like we're not doing enough. And that's where you really fall into the shadow and the part that you don't want to be in as a generator. You need to allow yourself that time to rest and only use that energy for things that your gut, your sacral center is telling you to use it for. That's so, so important. Now, manifesting generators, this is what I am. We're about 33% of the population, and we are a generator type. So a lot of the same things I just said are also true for a manifesting generator. We're also here to provide that workforce, life force energy. True builders of the world can go, 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 especially when we feel really lit up. When manifesting generators are in alignment, they're the ones who, I used to get this question all the time, how do you do it all? It's like they're superhumans at time. But that restless energy can, just like a generator, can sometimes be in overdrive where you just can't wait to get involved with something. You hate holdups and restrictions, and just sitting and just being can feel really difficult. So manifesting generators move quicker than generators, and they like to have more than one thing going on. They thrive in the hustle and the excitement of having many different things. And if you're a business owner, this can look like having more than one revenue stream, because you will get bored very quickly with just one. Now, the downside of that multitasking energy is that because we can move so quickly, we tend to miss things. And then we have to go back and fix it. So, yes, embrace the multitasking side of you, but remember to slow down and remember to respond. You were just like a generator type. So respond instead of force. Yes, you have the manifestor energy where it's like the take initiation, and the generator energy of let's bring this kind of thing to completion. But it's important to, again, slow down and respond. Your other strategy, yes, because you're a manifesting generator, you have two: informing just like a manifester and responding like a generator. So again, because you're fast paced and you're here and you're there and you're taking on new projects, and then you get bored and you're ready to move on to the next, which is good for you, by the way. This was something I struggled with a lot because I felt like I was a quitter and I could never stick with any one thing until I had a coach who showed me, this is your human design. This is what's right for you. Keep doing that. But remember to inform people who are going to be affected along the way and to respond. Don't force. Just respond to what's coming up for you and your environment, what people are saying to you, etc., instead of forcing. Remember, your gut is your greatest guide. Trust that life is coming to you and that you don't have to force. Our auras, without getting too in depth, the auras are like the electromagnetic field extending outwardly from us. Very much how you can feel the energy in a room when you walk in and you feel like someone's like, you, I don't know about that person. And someone else feels really excitable and someone else feels like they're having a bad day. All of this energy is communicating to each other, right? And the generator types have the aura of, this is all going to be coming to us to simply respond to. The auras do the work for us if we just let them and stop forcing. Nourishing rituals allow yourself to be challenged and learn something new for play. This is something that I wouldn't say I struggle with, but I catch myself in a lot because I always am always reading a book. I'm always taking courses and learning new things, and but I fall into the rabbit hole of I am doing it all for work, and it's all personal development, all business development, because I love it so much. I love what I do so much that I forget I also need to embrace the hobby side of things, of doing something that's not work related. So having that time for play to let your brain just relax from work and focus on other things is really essential. Now, projectors are about 20% of the population. And they are the people who, if you're on a movie set, they're like the director of the movie set. They're here to guide and direct the energy of others. They're really strong leaders. They really help guide people to align in their own lives. They're very good at pinpointing and understanding how to tweak methods and systems, how to bring efficiency, create new things, new methods, new efficient systems. But they are more prone to burnout because they are stuck in the society of generators, right? So they're trying to keep up with the generators of the world. But a projector is designed to only work 2 to 3 hours at a time. And that's 1,000% what I just said. I have the majority of the projectors who come to me are so burnt out because they are trying to work the 9 to 5 or more because that's what they've been conditioned to do, right? However, through working with me and through understanding their energetic journey, they've come to notice that they actually get more abundance, more benefits, more income, more everything when they stop working so much. The majority of my clients will take a nap throughout the day if they're projectors, go for a hike in the afternoon, stop to just watch some TV or meditate, whatever it is to turn their mind off. Because when they're in that 2 to 3 hour window of like, we are going to work, we're going to pay attention, we're going to focus, they have immense efficiency and energy to get the things done that they need to done and get done in that period. And then they rest. Then they come back and then they rest. That's what they're designed to do. Now, as a projector, your strategy, the way you're designed to interact with the world around you, is you're designed to wait to be invited to things. So this waiting for the invitation can sound like, it can look like, if you're a business owner, people signing up for your email list because that means they want to hear from you. People booking a call with you, that means they want to hear from you. A friend calling and venting to you and then asking for your advice is an invitation. However, if a friend's calling you and venting to you and simply wanting a shoulder to lean on, do not give that advice without being asked. And why is this? When projectors are just walking around in their daily life, they are, I love to call them our golden retrievers. If we were all had different breeds, I really want to put breeds to like every type because that'd be so fun. But projectors are like our golden retrievers where they want to help so bad. They are just like, just tell me what to get for you and I will get it. I want to help you. I know exactly how to help you. However, if the person on the other side of that isn't ready and willing to hear that, that's going to cause some tension, some resistance. And as a projector, you have a limited access to your energy. Don't put your energy into people and situations that aren't ready to hear what you have to say, because you do have a lot of beautiful knowledge to give and you can see things in a way that other people can't, and not everyone's ready for that. So wait for the invitation. When it's in work, I was working with one client specifically in one of my online courses, and she stopped forcing so much throughout the program. She started working in her 2 to 3 hour spurts. And then within just a couple weeks of the program, she was having clients offer to pay her more money. She had 2 speaking engagements come in from seemingly out of the blue and more. All of that because her energy was becoming aligned. When energy is in alignment, that's what creates magnetism. It's like when you have a really good day, right? In the morning, you get a coffee that's so spot on, and you're like, oh my God, it's going to be a great day. My coffee's so good today. And good things just keep happening. This is what we want to follow. Allow that good energetic alignment to just keep happening for you. Now, their not self theme is bitterness. When you are out of alignment, maybe you're giving advice they're not really ready to hear it, or you're trying to force things in your business, you're going to end up feeling more likely than not bitter. Bitter that you're not feeling seen and heard, bitter that the opportunities don't seem to be coming for you, but they're working for everyone else. I hear that a lot. So pay attention to that. And really nourishing for you as a projector is intentional downtime and rest. Like we've been talking about, having a guilty pleasure to turn your mind off is never a bad idea. Whether it's a trash TV show, like listen, I watch The Bachelor. That's probably my only trash TV show that I watch. And I friggin' love it. That's like my jam, right? Whatever it is for you, give yourself that time at least every day. How to shift that light from bitter to productive. Okay, yes. Oh, that's such you have awesome questions, Monica. So this is what I specifically work with a lot of people on, because there's many different ways you can reshift energy alignment, right? Meditation, hiking, visualization, EFT tapping, journaling, affirmations. All of these tools are very accessible for people all over the internet now, right? So find what tools are working well for you, especially when you're feeling really overwhelmed that you seem like you can't get out of that bitterness rut or that frustration rut. You can pull yourself back in by opening up your toolkit, maybe writing down, what do I love to do? I love to journal. I love to make gratitude lists. I love to do mirror work. I love to go for a hike with my dog in the woods while I listen to a hypnosis or a meditation, and start doing that. Keep doing tools that align you, that feel good for you, that work well for you, and then revisit whatever that situation is so you can see it with a whole new set of eyes. And you can figure out, okay, how do I make the most of this situation, make it be productive and feel good for me? It needs to feel good for you. That's obviously a good indicator of this is the right path. It feels good. Reflectors are only 1% of our population. I've met, I think, 5 in my life. One of them is one of my clients right now. And they're called reflectors because they literally take all the information in from their environment and reflect it back out to us. There are collective mirrors. And if you want to go back to the movie scene, they're like the movie critic. They often sense things that other people miss, and they can bring that fresh set of eyes, ears, opinions to whatever situation you're in, because they're taking in all of this information and reflecting it back out. So the general health and stability and well-being of a relationship or an environment, whatever that situation is, they're reflecting it back out to you. Now, their strategy is going to sound a little crazy if you're not in this world, but hold on tight. Bear with me here. The way that they interact best, the way that they're designed, is to do things on a 28-day lunar, as in the moon, lunar cycle. They need one entire lunar cycle, or 28 days or so, to make decisions, to align their energy to something that they want to do, to talk to people, to find their clarity in talking and sitting with things and taking in and magnifying other people's energies. This is really important for them to take that period to process things before making any jumps, before making any decisions. And without going into too much detail, this is because all the centers within their body, again, if you're familiar with the chakra system, this will be familiar to you, are open, which means they don't have their own consistent energy from those centers. They take in the energy of everyone around them. So with every lunar transit, every 28-day cycle, they are processing things through all of their centers. And by the end of that cycle, all the centers have gone through their processing and they can better understand their clarity. Now, I understand this world is not designed for people to have a 28-day buffer. Like you go to buy a house, you can't wait 28 days to put in an offer or to pay a payment on your house, whatever that is. I understand that. So it's about playing with that energy for you and seeing how this shows up in your world. One of my clients did say that she found she was already naturally doing that without knowing it. She said she was always a long decision maker and she didn't feel like she could find her clarity until after about 28 days or so. And so this makes so much sense. All right. Let's see. What are we on next? Disappointment, not self-theme, is disappointment. So that's going to be your red flag. That's saying, hang on, we're out of alignment here. I'm feeling really disappointed. What is this about? And how can I realign? Nourishing rituals, grounding. If you're familiar with the centers of the body, you'll be familiar with grounding exercises, because when we're taking in so much energy that doesn't belong to us, it's really, really important to be able to bring ourselves back down to an energy that's right for us. What this can look like is simply standing with your feet in the earth, in the dirt, outside, taking in the sun, just thinking about the feeling on your body, or drinking a glass of cold water and feeling it come down. You actually feel these things. You're paying attention to your body. And you could also do meditations, visualizations. But if you're not into that, those are some really simple ways that you can get grounded and back into your own energy. And of course, releasing energy. There's some really great, I love, if you guys aren't familiar with Insight Timer, it's a free app. I love that app. There's like thousands, if not millions, of meditations and visualizations and courses. And you can find some on releasing energy, which honestly is probably good for every single person to do all the time, but definitely so for a reflector. Okay, I just shared a lot of information. So let's take a deep breath. A lot of information there, and we still have more to go. So I'm going to pop in the comments real quick. So for the question of how do we assess and become aware, this is what we're going to be talking about next, kind of. But on the most, let's see, how do we, yep, there we go. On the most surface level, a great way to assess and become aware is all of those tools that I just talked about. Finding what works for you, whether it's hiking or meditating or tapping. Tapping is really good for me. If you have struggled with anxiety in the past and panic attacks or panic disorder, I highly recommend looking into tapping. It's one of the few things that helps me get out of a panic attack, so definitely recommend. Now we're going to jump into the second part of this workshop, which will be about your authority. Again, this is how our body is communicating to us to help us make decisions that are right for us, to get out of the overthinking mind into the body. This is about how we assess and become aware of what's right for us. So on your chart, you should see something that says authority. Can you define self? Yes, absolutely. We're going to go through all of the authorities. I will try and keep it as brief as possible. Again, if you want more information, you can always check out all the stuff I have on the last slide, which we'll get to, since this is very in-depth. So first, we'll start with emotional authority. This is what I have, something I'm very, very familiar with. And emotional authority is literally about letting your emotions settle before listening. You wait for an emotional clarity. Someone with emotional authority is not designed to make split decisions, split moment and the moment decisions. Like, that's not right for you. I'm going to guess that if you have emotional authority, you've definitely said yes to things on a whim because it felt like, let's go back to that sacral center, that gut response that we have as generators, right? It might have felt like a gut yes. And then later you were like, oh, I really wish I didn't say yes to that. I don't have the energy for that. I don't want to spend my time doing that. That's exactly what we're talking about here. So let your emotions settle. Ride the highs, ride the lows, ride the neutrals. Feel what it feels like in your body. I always recommend, even if you're not someone who loves to journal, just take note. It can be on your phone, in your notes section, whatever it is. Take note of what you're feeling around that decision on day one, then maybe the end of day one, and then revisit on day two. And for the majority of people with emotional authority, we very rarely get 100% clarity. For me, I feel like the highest that I get is like 85%. I'm like, all right, universe, I'm making this decision because it excites me, it feels good, and I'm throwing this out there, and I trust you're going to support me on this. But there's still going to be some thinking mind getting in the way and some potential emotions that you're not quite sure of. So it's about building that trust muscle and learning what your body is saying to you, what your body's feeling, and how you can tell when that's a yes or a no. Okay, your sacral authority. If you have sacral authority, this is the gut response that we talked about for generators. Now, if you are a generator that has emotional authority, you have a two-step method essentially. You're going to listen for that sacral response, but for big decisions, you're going to wait and you're going to find your emotional clarity. If you have sacral authority, not emotional, you purely have that gut response and that's right for you. So that initial oh, yes or oh no is likely going to be what's right for you. So listen to that. Allow your vocal responses to guide you. Allow yourself to use the tone of your voice and just oh, yes or ugh no, like that's natural for you. Allow yourself to do that and follow that sacral light up yes. And like I said, if it's not a hell yes, it's a not right now or a no. Splenic authority. Splenic is the spleen, so splenic center. And you are someone who's designed to make decisions right in the moment based on intuition. If you don't know what your intuition looks like, now this is definitely a learning journey as well. You want to practice getting quiet enough to hear or feel or smell or sense the guidance that's coming through for you. For me, my intuition comes through as what I thought was just thoughts. I would hear words or a sentence in my head, or I would see words or a sentence in my head. And so for the majority of my life, I thought it was just me having thoughts that came out of nowhere, but it turned out it was my intuition. So, whatever your intuition looks like for you, that's going to be the largest indicator of your decision making process. It could be you get the goosebumps when someone says something, it could be the butterflies or an adrenaline dump, it could be a feeling in your stomach, it could be that you see, you have visions. All of this can be different types of intuition. So, get quiet enough to hear the guidance that's coming through for you, and then you need to have the courage to act on it. And again, building that trust muscle, maybe taking note. I always recommend taking note of what your intuition was guiding you to do. How did that result? Over time, you're going to continue to build that trust muscle and learn what your intuition sounds like or looks like or feels like, and know what the decision is for you. Next, we have self-projected, or G. There's a G center that's also called the self center. So if self-projected authority is what you have, that means that your clarity comes through your voice and what they call spontaneous utterances. You want to pay attention to the tone of your voice, let your words flow. I have a client who is self-projected, always notorious for just like talking to herself, talking things out. She'll talk things out with people, but knowing that it's not their opinion she's looking for, it's I need to be able to just talk things out with you so I can understand my own thoughts. It's this finding your inner knowing through letting your words flow without being hindered by someone else's opinion. It's not about taking in other advice or opinions. It's letting the words flow. Maybe you could go for a hike and just start talking. Just start talking about whatever it is that you're thinking of. If talking really doesn't feel right for you, start by just free flow journaling and see what comes out. And then over time, build yourself up to paying attention to the voice and the tone of your voice. If it's excited, if it's scared, if it's anxious, that's how you find your authority. That's how you find your decision. Next up, we have mental authority. Now, with human design, there's a lot of different terms that people have coined for the same thing. So you'll see it as mental, you'll see it as outer authority, you'll see it as none, environmental. That is all mental or outer authority. And now this is someone who's designed to use those trusted sounding boards to find clarity, to use people. I was just talking to my best friend on the phone this morning, and she was talking about how she leans on people who are the right people to actually get advice from. Because again, you don't want to be leaning on that friend who's negative Nancy or who projects their fear onto you. One time when my husband and we're big risk takers. And because of that, we've had big financial wins. for an example, flipping houses. And we were talking about another one we wanted to invest in and flip. And we were with my parents, and they, of course, their natural response was, don't do that. You don't want to do that. It could be a money pit. You don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm at the point in my life where I understood that those were fear projections for themselves. And that's okay. But we have always been, I'm not telling you to go out there and buy a house to flip, but we have always been the people who take risks, and because of that we've had big rewards. So you want to lean on the people who are not going to talk you out of things, who are not going to be all negative or put you in a tailspin, right? You want to find the people who help you find clarity in a healthy, abundant, positive way. But again, it's about listening to what you say in those conversations. You're not looking for them to give you the answer. You're looking for them to help you guide yourself to an answer. So using that sounding board is really just to find your own clarity. And then we have ego authority. Ego authority in its entirety is making decisions based on your heart's desires. You're someone who's meant to be healthily selfish in your decisions. Now, if you're a manifester with ego authority, it's called ego manifested. And you want to listen to what you're saying in the moment. A yes, always tune into the heart. A yes feels like your heart is being drawn towards something, and a no feels like your heart's pulling away. But in order to feel that pull toward or pull away, it's important for you to start talking. Talk shit out. Hear what you say, act accordingly, listen to the heart, let the heart guide you. And as ego projected, you want to be asking yourself, this is about not so much about talking things out to follow your heart. This is about asking yourself if you have the energy for the decision. So if you're a projector with the ego authority, go inward. Again, healthily selfish. Ask yourself, will this fulfill me? Do I really want this? Do I want to put my precious energy and time into this? Will it fulfill me? Take everyone else out of the equation. Is this right for me and my heart? And then we have lunar, which is going back to the reflectors that we touched on earlier, with the spending of the 28 days contemplating, discussing, connecting to the lunar cycle to feel and sample all of the information, all of the energy from around you to find the decision that's best helpful for you. Now, that was a lot of information. So if you have specific questions on the authority that you have on your chart, go ahead and drop them into the comments. I want to make sure I answered all the ones that we're already, okay. And then hopefully I defined self-authority for you well. If you want more clarification, pop into the comments, just let me know. And something I want to wrap up on is not only a way that you can be supported by other people around you, but in ways that you can support those that you love. So, for example, I have everyone in my family's charts. I know my husband, my kids, my best friends, because this helps me communicate with them. This is how I go into corporations and companies and teach leadership and teach framework, is because you can learn how to communicate with each other best when you understand everyone's energies, when we get into alignment all together, right? So how can we take the information that we've learned so far and put it into supporting ourselves and those around us? If you are a generator, or if friends in your circle are generators or family, you want to be asked yes or no questions to light up that sacral response. It's going to be way easier for people to say, hey, do you want pizza tonight? Instead of someone saying, hey, what do you want for dinner tonight? Because you can say yes or no instead of floundering in the endless possibilities. So have someone in your life ask you yes or no questions. Practice with it. See how that feels. The same goes for manifesting generators. Yes or no questions, because they do have that sacral energy, that yes or that no. And also encouraging manifesting generators to have many different interests. Remember, you're not a quitter. Same goes for manifestors. I see this in manifestors a lot. You start and stop things a whole lot. That's right for you. Allow yourself to move on to things that are no longer bringing you excitement. And the same for manifestors and autonomy. Again, remember your independence. Whatever relationships you're in, let them know you are someone who's very independent and that alone time is very important for you. And you need to build that in in order to, in whatever way works for you, whatever you find feels good, in order to feel in alignment with yourself. Projectors. Invite your projectors to share their guidance and wisdom. Invite them to share their gifts. Invite them onto a call. Invite them to share support when you're looking for it. They want to. They're waiting for you to ask, right? So if you are a projector, my clients have been doing this so beautifully with me. I love it. When I just forget, when I forget that they need the invitation, I have clients who are like, I have this information. Oh, you just need to ask. And I'm like, oh, right. Yes. Can you please give me this information? Can you please share this with me on your situation? I'd love to know more. Can you please come on my podcast? Remember to have people ask you for your advice. And then reflectors, again, give them the patience of the 28 days. Let them lean on that time and that process and the needing of people sometimes throughout that process to really find their full support and their full authority and feel like they have clarity. All right, so we've talked about your energy and how to best use it to interact with the world. Flow, not force. We've talked about finding your clarity through decisions. And we've talked about how you can support you and how you can support others on this journey. If you want any more information, obviously we have a few minutes left, so pop them in the comments if you have questions. But I'm also offering anyone who is here live a 20% discount on a custom human design chart reading. You do need to book it at this direct link, not through my website. So make sure you use this link for 20% off, and we can get that on the books. And if you want one-to-one support, I'm here for life or business. I do have experience with both, plenty of experience of my own, as well as working with clients. Same with speaking and workshops. My online course is currently in session, so it's not open right now, but you can sign up for my mailing list so that you can be notified when it does open again. And Human Design Society membership has an awesome new feature we're adding in for every new member who joins from here until I think September 30th. We're still working on the details. We'll get a hand-selected, curated selection of stones and crystals from my dear friend and colleague who is a crystal Reiki master. And so she'll go through whatever your information is, what the question you have is at the time, and she will hand select some stones for you, and we will send one right to you. So if we have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. That was it, Monica. Is there anything else you wanted me to share on?
No, I think this was excellent. And I think we had so many questions on the chat. I love it. I was popping them because we couldn't get them from LinkedIn and Facebook. So I was copying them and putting them in here so
Okay.
everybody could
I was
get
like, I don't
to
see anything but Monica.
um, yeah. So it was really interesting. Hello to Margie. She was watching. We had a couple people on LinkedIn that they were watching. So this is truly amazing. I think, you know, even if it was just like one thing or two things, you always learn something new, right? And for me,
Mhm.
this was very eye opening, especially the part that you talked about disappointment. That part was like a big aha moment. So I think, everyone that wants to become more in tune with themselves, right? And become more
Mhm.
aware and have that path carved out for them in order to succeed better,
Yeah.
definitely have a conversation with Adriana because she can help you get there. And it was truly amazing. So thank you so much, Adriana, for being here.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow her, connect with her, and use the link. All the details are on the comments, and we will be posting this as a way for you to download it so you can connect with her, make an appointment, and make sure that you get your path into your own human design, right? So thanks so much, Adriana. Have an amazing day, everybody, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for tuning in.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Have a beautiful day.